It's all about truth. All of it. Every single thing. All boils down to the truth. We all want truth. The truth will set you free. All right, welcome to the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. Going to be here for the next little while talking about the Universal Ostrich Farms, which is facing potential culling from the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. This could potentially be happening today. We have a live shot of the farm right here. You can see a number of the ostriches running around here. Again, this is a live stream. They apparently might be clamping down on this whole situation today. Breaking: power has been cut and shut off at the ostrich side of the Universal Ostrich Farms. The killing of 400 ostriches could be imminent. We're going to take a look at that. We'll also look at some of this new videos coming out of, RCMP mobilizing, getting ready to go in and do the deed, carry out the orders of the Canadian Food Inspection Agency and kill these nearly 400 healthy birds. We have some other updates, a couple live streams that have just ended, so we'll take a look at those. We'll continuously update this page to see if there's anything breaking happening. In case you didn't know, there was this company who was originally contracted to, be the trucks that were going to transport these birds to wherever they're going to be, slaughtered. And apparently the company backed out of this after some public pressure. People kind of suggesting that they ought to really look deep down inside at what they're being involved in here, and this company backed away from this. But I think there's another company who has already been contracted to carry this out, called Nucor. This is the business that has now been hired to kill all the ostriches and take them away like as if they are toxic waste. Here's a phone number that you can call. As I understand it, they have been awarded a contract of $188,000 to do this. Again, this is coming at the hands of the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. And here is a live stream shot of the entire situation, which could be kicking off any moment now. We've got U.S. right-wing commentators offering to house the BC ostriches facing this call order. We'll take a look at this article. And in case you didn't know, guys, I started covering this back when the story, first broke. In this one, breaking: Canadian government purchased H5N1 vaccines for humans while culling 400 healthy ostriches. Actually, come to think of it, I covered this before this particular video, but this was an important update. And then this one: devastating news after federal judge rules the cull of nearly 400 ostriches can proceed. A BC ostrich farm says it's devastated by a federal court ruling Tuesday that upholds an order to have the nearly 400 completely healthy bird flock killed due to the detection of avian flu, and hopes to continue fighting this case in court. Now, I think they're trying to have a stay order come through in the last minute to save these birds. But after I did that report, I ended up going down to the Universal Ostrich Farms in Edgewood, BC. In this video I posted, I'm here at the Universal Ostrich Farm collecting interviews and information for my video report. And I ended up putting together this piece here. A very lengthy deep dive into the entire situation. This is an hour and a half long video that really plays like a documentary because, I interviewed people on the grounds, as you can see here. People directly involved with the fight to save these birds. I interviewed virology experts like Dr. Andrew Kaufman here. I've interviewed also some of the more kind of vocal critics of what some of the research that is being engaged in at this particular farm. And of course, I spoke with the farm owners themselves, you know, to get their story directly from the horse's mouth. So we'll take a look at that too, guys. We're going to look at all of this and much more in this video. Really quickly, guys, if you do appreciate my efforts to bring you this info, I'd ask that you please check me out here at pressfortruth.ca/donate. Here you can do PayPal, you can do Bitcoin, you can do other cryptocurrencies. You could sign up here or here for a monthly reoccurring contribution. Thank you so much to everybody who does contribute in that way. You can also send an e-transfer to dan@pressfortruth.ca, or you can send stuff to my P.O. box, guys. I'm going to have links to all of that located in the description below. So thank you so much to anybody who does take some time today to support my efforts at Press for Truth. Now, let me just check this stream and make sure we are going. Looks like we are. Yeah, we got some comments coming in, so that is a good sign. Let me go ahead and switch this over to that and see if I can still monitor the chat from here. I can. Okay, so we got Vape King in the house. Feel free to talk. Audio volume up, please. Sorry about that. Hopefully, let me see what I can do there. See if that's any better. Hopefully you can hear me. Man-made famines in the action, says Melinda. The ostrich farm conspiracy must be subverted, says D. Brown. Again, I'm going to go through all of your comments and questions, so keep them coming, guys. And we'll get to that shortly. Let me just, let me do this first. And let me also just make sure that we are, I'm trying to go live to my Rumble today. It looks like that might be working. And I should be live on YouTube as well. Let me just quickly refresh my page here and make sure that we are in fact live. I think we are, because I would hope so anyways. I think this is where the comments are coming in from. Let me just see here. Again, bear with me, guys, as I'm still kind of struggling to figure out this new streaming software. So I think I am live. It's not showing it here, but I mean, every time I do that, it turns out I actually am. But maybe this is just coming in from the Rumble today. We shall see. It looks like I am getting comments coming in from the YouTube, so I don't know. We must be live. I assume we are. So I'm just gonna keep going. Rapunzel says, thank you for covering this, Dan. You are live, says Truth Seeker. Okay, if any of you guys are subscribed to me on Rumble, can you head over to my Rumble channel and see if we are in fact live over there as well? I think we should be. So yeah, if we are, let me know, and that's a good thing. But again, let's take a look at this. This is the live stream. You can find this at Universal Ostrich Farm YouTube channel, and apparently they're looking at doing this today, because last night at 4:30 in the morning, I should say, they apparently cut the power. Let's just quickly listen to this from one of the farm owners, the daughter of the farm owner, who reported on this at 4:30 in the morning.
It is 4:30 in the morning, and they have cut the power to our side of the ostrich pens. So our power is gone on the side of the ostrich farm side. We have a house side, which is on one side of the public road, and the ostriches are on the other side of the public road. And we have been now disconnected from power. So this is absolutely psychological warfare, terrorism at its biggest, on a family that has just been dedicated to doing everything good to protect Canadian farmers and do it the right way. We've done it in peace and love and solidarity and going through our proper legal channels. Remember, we have a leave into the Supreme Court with an emergency stay order impending, and they're still doing this with reconsideration material that they will not acknowledge with our expert witness reports. Just anyway, a heads up that yes, so they have now dropped our power as of 4:30 this morning.
Crazy. And as she said, they do have an emergency stay order that they're trying to get passed very last minute to try to stave off this culling. And if you're kind of new to this situation, you're new to the story, in case you didn't know, this is a bunch of ostriches, some birds that, you know, have been proven to be healthy over 9 months ago now. The whole thing started when I think it was 4 birds initially that died out of like 400. And, all of a sudden the Canadian Food Inspection Agency caught wind of this. They contacted the farm and said, hey, we heard you had a couple of unhealthy birds who have just died. Can we come to your facility to run a few tests? And this was the first mistake by the farm, which they said, yes, by all means, come on in, do your tests. We got nothing to hide. Everything's fine, you know. And the Canadian Food Inspection Agency showed up. They did some PCR tests on these 2 of these carcasses, and determined that they had died from the avian influenza. So this whole bird flu psyop, which has been running all throughout the United States and other areas of Canada too, they've already called thousands, if not millions, of chickens already under this under this whole thing. And you know, I reported on that in this one with my friend Curtis Stone. They want to control the food. Will the next flu psyop be aimed at farmers? Henry Kissinger once said, who controls the food supply controls the people, who controls the energy can control the whole continents, and who controls money can control the world. Kissinger knew that in order to be able to control the people, you must be able to control the food. And the current march towards their desired levels of total control are well underway. But what will this mean for small-time farmers? In this video, Dan Dicks of Press for Truth speaks with Curtis Stone about the planned monopolization of food, how the powers that ought not be may attempt to achieve total control over food, and most importantly, what you can do right now to ensure that you and your family won't be left starving and begging for scraps from the government table. Again, a really important interview to check out. Because we got into all this in the summer of last year, August of 2024, and now it's all coming to fruition. Now, this particular farm, these used to be birds that were used for food, but that stopped a long time ago, in case you didn't know. The farm actually transitioned into being a scientific sort of research facility because they were looking into antibodies that come from ostrich eggs, and to find out whether or not they can help in the in research for staving off COVID-19 84. And in my deep dive on this whole situation in this video here, I get into that in great detail. In fact, maybe we'll watch my little introduction here, because there's, this, if you happen to be watching this on YouTube, you would have missed this one, because I didn't even have this channel when I put this out. This channel was terminated, in case you didn't know, and I only recently got it back a couple of months ago. But I put this one out way back in May of earlier this year, and I explained things when I first arrived. So let's take a quick look at that, and then we'll jump back into it. Hey guys, this is Dan Dicks here reporting for Press for Truth. I made it here at the Universal Ostrich Farm in British Columbia. If you're not familiar with what's going on with this story, you really need to be. It's pretty wild. Basically, what we have here is a case of a few of these birds apparently contracting the avian influenza virus, and the Canadian Food Inspection Agency has determined that since a few of them at one time got sick, the rest of these nearly 400 healthy birds must be culled. In other words, killed on order from the Canadian Food and Inspection Agency. Obviously, this is a travesty. If this can happen to small-time farmers like these people here who are, raising ostriches. What's to stop this to happening, with your cows or your horses, or maybe even someday, your pets. So this is a precedent-setting case when it comes to the massive attack on small-time farmers everywhere, really. So there's really this particular story has actually become rather of a highly contentious issue that seems to have divided some people because of the fact that these are not actually meat birds that are meant for human consumption, but rather these are research birds who are meant to conduct research into the eggs that they produce and the potential antibodies that can come from these eggs. Now, a lot of people have discussed the problems within virology itself and the fact that things like avian influenza, H5N1, COVID for that matter, have not been, isolated in a lab. And so therefore, not only is looking for, antibodies not only moot, they would say, but it's also continuing to spread the government narrative that, things like Omicron and Delta variants are things that you really have to be in fear of. So again, this has become a bit of a highly contentious issue, which is, again, what I hope to help get to the bottom of here. So I'm going to be speaking with some of the virology experts, the doctors who are saying these things, some of the more vocal critics of what goes on at this farm, but I'm also going to speak to, the farm owners themselves and some of the people who are here protesting the CULL order from the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. And I think we can all agree that what the government is doing here is bad. It's absolutely wrong, and we cannot let them set this insane precedence. But there's also a lot to be said about what some of these other people have raised as well. So I hope to help, get to the bottom of all of this, guys. So please stay tuned for my video reports. I'm going to be doing a lot of interviews today, and I'll have a solid video report for you coming very soon. You can check that at pressfortruth.ca. And if you want to support my efforts... so this is just shortly after doing a number of reports on it, and then I went there, directly speaking with the farm owners, the people who are, more vocal critics about some of the research that they are doing there in terms of their COVID-19 antibody research. And then virology experts like Dr. Andrew Kaufman, who makes a lot of interesting points about this. Even some of the protesters were bringing up this issue of the, what happens with the research once this farm teamed up with a Japanese researcher, in fact. But besides all of that stuff, like, the fact of the matter is, here you have birds that are currently healthy. So they did 2 PCR tests, and we know how bogus those things are, on 2 dead carcasses of 2 birds out of like hundreds that apparently showed avian influenza, right? And then they say, the rest of them have to be killed because of that. Now, that was 9 months ago. Obviously, according to their own line of thinking, these guys should be have herd immunity now. None of them they're obviously healthy. They've survived it. They're running around, as you can see from the live stream right here. Nothing wrong with these birds. Perfectly healthy. And what's even crazier is they will not allow the farm to do any testing now, or anybody else for that matter, to come in and do another test to see if these birds still have this thing that the government allegedly says they had 9 months ago. And they won't let them do it. And the judge is just going to go ahead and kill the healthy birds, even though, they're not sick, obviously. It's been 9 months since this whole thing kicked off. and they're still here. They're still very, very healthy. It doesn't matter though. It seems like the Canadian Food Inspection Agency wants to just set this evil, downright wicked precedence that, the moment you essentially allow them in, like the farm did here, you're going to have to do what they say, even if that means killing nearly 400 healthy birds. And these birds are pretty wild. I mean, when I was there, I was pretty blown away by their majesty. Like, it was interesting just how majestic they are. It was interesting just kind of, some of them just seem to stare right into my eyes, and it's like they're looking deep into my soul. It was bizarre. These are ancient birds. Apparently, they're like, almost like prehistoric dinosaurs living today, a lot of people say. And I had no idea how massive and majestic they really are until I was there, standing a couple of feet away from them. They really are remarkable. And so here's an update that just came through right here. Let's give this one a watch together. I haven't even watched this. I watched about the first minute and I was like, yeah, let's play this. So let's watch it together.
Hi, everybody. We don't know what is happening right now, but Jeff is just bringing us some news.
Pretty much the latest
from
update.
I don't know. Something is happening right now, and I just want to film this because I don't know what's going to happen.
So here's the deal. I've been approached by the CFIA. Right off the gate, the birds aren't dying today, no matter what. No matter what path we go, the birds aren't dying today.
He just said right off the bat, the birds are not dying today. So I don't know if that's going to buy them more time for this stay order to go through. It remains to be seen, but our CMP have been mobilizing. There's more footage here of like all of them just totally lined up and ready to go. Just a bunch of guys following orders, ready to go in and take all these birds to wherever they're going to slaughter them at any given moment. They're ready to go. So it's really tough to say if this is going to happen today or not. But according to this, it's not happening today. But let's continue.
Okay. That's huge.
I want you guys to be able to breathe.
That's huge.
Just to know today we got the birds. They won't. They talk to their legal team. They can't directly serve me legally the warrants because
I'll come get them.
Yeah. So here's the deal.
Okay.
You're not in any harm coming with me
They won't arrest me?
to accept the warrants.
They won't accept me or arrest me?
Yeah, and I'm talking to you right now, and we're going to burn a little bit more time. I'm going to go back and I'm going to verify everything based on your response, and then I'm going to reach out to you again.
Okay.
So essentially, here's the deal. When they issue this warrant, we give them the jurisdiction to essentially use force if they're being obstructed, essentially to have the autonomy over the situation. If we don't go down that path, it's only a matter of time before it gets ugly and they use extreme powers to
pull us out of here.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of people there now blockading the entrance. There's cars have been pulled in to kind of block the entrance. But as this person is saying, like, if they get this warrant, they're going to be able to like just powerhouse their way through and have everybody physically removed from the site. So they still have to get this warrant in order to do so. So all of this stuff is just kind of brewing right now, and it could really go either way. This might happen today, it might happen tomorrow, but it looks like it's potentially going to happen soon.
So they know that Omar's working on the stay right now.
Okay.
The officers, they're on board. They want Omar to get the stay. The CFAA guys, I don't trust them.
No.
They're different.
Yeah, he's saying like the cops want them to get the stay, and I'm not surprised that the cops don't want anything to do with this. Like, this isn't what they signed up to to do when they became police officers, but they will follow those orders. You know, make no mistake about that. But the Canadian Food Inspection Agency certainly does want this to go through. This is their operation.
They are different. They want to kill. Canadian Food Inspection Agency wants to kill.
If I can present you with a stay in the next few hours, do you stop and go? Like, is that it? Do you stop? He said, well, we refer to our legal team and then we proceed moving forward. Now, the law would state that they can't.
They can't.
We
That's
know
right.
that they legally can. But he won't speak on behalf of they're bureaucrats. They don't do that.
Okay.
So
I'll come.
Where we're at is they issue the warrant, but once they issue the warrant, we're also engaging the next
step.
Now, this is a tough one because I don't.
They want to kill. They want our antibodies gone. No.
But we have to buy time at the same time. In your heart, do you feel there's a good chance Omar might be able to at least get that temporary stay? Even if it's not...
He talked to the justice directly, and he just said, they said, okay, we acknowledge it's there.
Oh. Go figure. Media can't be played. Reload. Like I said, I'm just watching this for the first time with you guys live. I'm not sure if this is how it's always been or if it's just glitching out now. Let me just quickly refresh, but it seems to be glitching out a little bit. Let's go back.
Out of here.
Yeah.
They are different. They want to kill.
Where we're at is there's a good chance Omar might be able to at least get that temporary stay.
Yeah, seems to be glitching out a little bit. But at any rate, we kind of get the point. I'll see if I can get back to this, but seems like they're working hard on getting the stay order to come through before the actual warrant comes through. Here's a live shot of the ostrich farm right now, and as you can see, they're still there, still doing just fine, walking around, healthy. As I mentioned, there's some U.S. right-wing commentator who's offering to house the BC ostriches facing this call order. In case you didn't know, you got guys like Kennedy, the health secretary in the U.S. Chiming in on this as well. An ostrich farm in British Columbia's interior, whose birds face a call order, has the support of a right-wing American influencer who is asking for help from truck drivers to transfer the birds to locations in the United States. Conservative commentator Chris Sanders, not sure who that is, said in a Facebook video that he would like to help the ostriches out there in Canada and relocate them in Oklahoma, Texas, and South Dakota. The Universal Ostrich Farm in Edgewood, BC has called on supporters to gather at the property to save about 400 ostriches as the Canadian Food Inspection Agency prepares to destroy the birds following an outbreak of avian flu last December. Again, that's absolutely insane that here we are, 9 months later, I guess. And they're still trying to go through with this thing, even though they're clearly, like, as you can see, walking around totally healthy. Sanders, who is commentator on American News Network's social media platform, said the birds can be used for science to make antibodies against the avian flu. Katie Pazitny, a spokeswoman with the farm, said that she is aware of the comments from Sanders and is exploring the option. She said that she's expected that the inspection agency to carry out the call on the weekend or Monday, that's today, and asked for people to flood the authorities with phone calls to tell them to stand on the right side of history. I'm not sure exactly if that is what this phone number is here, but that's probably it, because like I said, this is just an update that just came through in the last couple of hours, and let's see if there's anything new. Yeah, this was posted two hours ago. Let's take a quick look at this.
Hi, everybody. We don't know what is happening right now, but Jeff is just bringing us some news from I don't know, something is happening right now, and I just want to film this because I don't know what's gonna
Oh, okay. This is the video we just watched, but on Twitter, I guess. Maybe it won't glitch out. Let's
Talk
scan
to the
ahead.
justice directly, and he just said, they said, okay, we acknowledge it's there.
It glitches out in the exact same spot. So that was probably a problem with their live stream. I'm guessing. I mean, it's you know, if they're shutting down the power and probably messing with people's live streams out there, because obviously they don't want this stuff getting out to the general public, especially
and
live.
we have
So what a good call was setting up this live streaming camera. Hopefully they're using their own satellite networks, you know, to be able to continue to broadcast this particular live stream, because if Canada has to watch this go down live, it's going to upset a lot of people, and rightly so, guys, because as we've said, you know, already many times in this stream, these birds are perfectly healthy. This is just absolute insanity coming from the Canadian government. Regardless of what you think about the research that's being conducted at this place, and if you want to learn more of that, guys, you really need to watch this deep dive I did here. Again, where I, you know, explain the whole situation. Let me just play a little bit of the intro of this, because there's a good chance you guys haven't seen this one.
This is
Well, I skipped over the entire intro, but let's just watch like a minute of the beginning.
Dicks here reporting for Press for Truth. For the last 5 days, I've been doing research and conducting interviews with some of the people who have their boots on the ground in this fight to save the ostriches. Some of the more vocal critics of the research this farm has been conducting, virology experts who have looked very closely at this particular case, and of course, the farm owners themselves, in order to get the full story directly from the horse's mouth. The family who owns the farm recently released a press release to address some of the controversies. And some of the topics include their background, their antigen research versus vaccination, their farm operations and health history, the COVID-19 antibody research from 2020 to 2021, the Japanese research, the December 2024 to January 2025 health events, the CFIA testing and CULL order, legal actions and court outcomes, compensation and fines, and finally, their commitment to transparency. Links for all of this will be located in the description below. So without further ado, here is my video report titled, "This is Universal Ostrich Inc., a deep dive with Press for Truth." Why don't you start off by just telling us what brings you out to Edgewood, British Columbia at this ostrich farm here?
All right, guys, please go watch that one. If you just do a search on my website for it, you'll find it. It's called This is Universal Ostrich Inc., a deep dive with Press for Truth. And I think you'll be very interested in this interview that I did with Dr. Andrew Kaufman, who really kind of lays out some of the issues that he sees with the particular research that's going on there, in regards to just perpetuating this idea that you have to be, you know, afraid of all these new variants that are coming out with COVID, and that you know, this antibody research is going to somehow help with that, just adding to the fear state that the, you know, Canadian government and every government around the world was drumming up for the last 5 years and continues to do so to this very day. Really important stuff. And then again, Christine Massey, I think is her name, is one of the more vocal critics of this stuff, and she lays it all out as well. You know, because I wanted to get every kind of side of the argument in terms of the controversial research that's been going on at this place. But besides all of that, you still have the fact that, you know, these are healthy birds that are going to be slaughtered by the Canadian government at the hands of orders coming down from the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. Like, this is just so beyond wrong. And when they won't even let them prove that they're not sick. You know, maybe they were, you know, who knows what they had. Call it avian influenza, whatever they want to call it, something that they had. 4 birds died, you know, like almost a year ago now. And And the rest of the birds survived it though, and they clearly have herd immunity or whatever you want to call it. They didn't get exposed to the same thing that killed those other 4 birds, and they're clearly healthy. So the fact that the Canadian government wants to continue going through with this is just absolute madness. It's absolute madness. It's completely insane. So this is why they're really, really fighting hard now for this stay order before a warrant is eventually issued. Let's take a quick look at this video as well that was shot earlier today.
Good to see you. Glad you're all here, kinda, in a weird way.
You've mentioned good things about PLT before.
I've what?
You've mentioned good things about PLT before. We've met before.
Yeah, we've met.
Yeah.
Met. Yeah, we've all met.
Yeah.
We've had some conversations. It's been an interesting time.
Yeah.
Really sorry it came down to this.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody's sorry it's come down to this.
Yeah, actually.
Look at all these guys, just
Yeah,
in
last thing I'm
line,
gonna
ready
do
to
is mess
follow
with,
their orders.
with what the family wants. Another gentleman here. Doing his job, Just doing my job.
Just
That's what they
doing his
always say.
job.
Oh, this one's doing up his window. He don't want
Yeah,
nothing to
just
do with
following
me.
orders.
Couple in there. One's got a mask on. Yeah. One in there's got a mask. This one doesn't have a mask. They're on their phones. Maybe they're running their socials. Who knows? Yeah, all kinds of folks in here doing their job. Showing up for work. It's always good to show up for work. These vans, paddy wagons, RCMPs.
They're probably mobilizing to deal with the large amount of protesters, who have showed up. There's a ton of people there right now who are ready to, do whatever they do. They're probably going to want to form a human shield or something like that. And if the warrant goes through, that's what all these guys are waiting for. All these RCMP officers are just gonna at the call go in and clear the whole place out, and then they'll follow in with a whole bunch of trucks. By the way, if you're just tuning in, there was this company who was originally supposed to be involved with this who backed out. They're like, we can't in good conscience go along with this. Thanks, but no thanks. You're on your own. Good luck. And then it came out that this company, Nucor, was contracted to the tune of $188,000 to help the Canadian Food Inspection Agency using their trucks to go in, and I assume they're going to round up the birds on the trucks and then take them somewhere to be slaughtered. They're not just going to kill them all right here on site. Although there was speculation that already happened. Like a couple of months ago, one of these birds was allegedly shot in the neck, as I understand it. And even earlier today, there were some sort of reports that there was like some kind of provocateur type guy running around with all in black, with a black mask and a gas canister and maybe a lighter in one hand and a can of gas in the other hand. And the neighbor was kind of, freaking out about it and called the cops. And then some guy got arrested for it. But now some people believe that the guy who got arrested is not the same dude who was in the black and he's just taking the fall. Like it's a whole mess happening down there right now. But there are a number of protesters who are there. There's some reporters on the ground. Drea from Rebel is there. And then you got some mainstream outlets who are there too. Global, I think, CTV. Uh-oh. This is a lot of the birds running here on a live stream. Again, this just might be normal kind of activity, but I've been keeping a watch on this stream all day. Let me see if this is actually still live. Yeah, this is live from their webcam that they have set up. when I started watching this morning, I was like, man, I gotta go live right now to get the word out to people that this is potentially going down today. But as we saw from that one update, they still have yet to get a warrant to be able to do this, and they still have a stay order in place that may go through, so it might not happen today. God forbid it does. Let's continue to hope and pray that it doesn't, because this is this family's like livelihood. In case you didn't know, they've been running this farm for 35 years. Some of these birds are literally 35 years old. Like, I had no idea they could even live that long, but they do. They're pretty unique and special creatures. And this I can't imagine how the owners would feel, just the devastation of having 400 of their, they've got a lot of them named. Like, they have names for these beautiful creatures, and come to love them like pets. As I said, the business shifted a while ago from anything to do with food and cosmetics and whatever else they were doing. I think they were creating dog food. They were creating some sort of, skin creams and stuff like that. But it all switched into antibody research, because, as I understand it, at one point they linked up with this Japanese researcher who was kind of leading the charge on ostrich egg antibodies for COVID. And then I think this farm caught wind of that and was like, hey, maybe we should, look into this and try to help save the world. And it's a noble thing that they're trying to engage in here. But as I said in my, deep dive piece, and as people like Christine Massey pointed out, and people like Dr. Andrew Kaufman pointed out, they're just perpetuating the government lie that, COVID is something you have to be concerned with. And, the farm would argue that, hey, instead of running out and getting shot up with, experimental shots, maybe we should look into, antibodies. And so again, it's a noble thing that they're doing. But again, it just perpetuates the massive government narrative that, COVID is this big bad thing that everybody needs to be worried about. And, like I said with this report with the Curtis, are they trying to control food moving forward with this next, flu psyop that might be aimed at farmers? We know there is a concerted effort to come after our ability to grow food. They've already culled a whole bunch of chickens, in case you didn't know, under this same pretext, that this same thing have already killed a whole bunch of chickens, and now they're coming after ostriches. So it does seem to be an attack on small farmers. And is this going to be just another domino to fall in that regards? Like, man, let's hope not. Let me quickly go to some of the comments and questions, and we'll see what we have that I can try to answer for you. Bear with me, guys. I'm just going to scroll back because it looks like there's a lot since I've been live. Birds aren't real, says somebody on Rumble. Yeah, that's a interesting psychological operation that I think somebody did as to try to see if they could get like conspiracy theories to go viral, and they came up with something ridiculous like that. And turns out it wasn't too hard. A lot of people started believing it. Pretty crazy. Okay, let's see. Let me I'm going to whereabout is this in BC, Dan? I'm going to be looking specifically for questions, obviously more so than comments. T-Bone316 asked, where is this in BC? This is in Edgewood, BC. It's about an 8-hour drive from me. I was, contemplating getting down there. But again, we're looking at a 16-hour commute there and back, and I did it already not that long ago, and ended up putting together like what kind of plays like a full-length feature documentary film, really. Again, if you haven't seen my deep dive, just go to my website and do a search for Universal Ostrich Inc. Deep Dive with Press for Truth, and you'll find it. All right, let me keep zooming through here. I thought the ostriches were already culled. says Code Maxim. Have they not yet? No, they haven't. There was the judge has kind of flipped back and forth and back and forth. They've had stay orders follow through, and then the judge flipped that and ordered that they be called again, and now there's another stay order, and it's gone back and forth over the last 9 months. And that's the wild part of all this. The birds are clearly healthy all this time. Like, while they're arguing on whether or not this should be done, no other birds have died. They're clearly healthy. So, again, just absolutely insane and ridiculous. Bill Gates wants his lab-grown meat and fake eggs, says Steffi Weffy777. Yeah, no doubt. Bill Gates is one of the largest owners of private farmland, I believe, in the United States now. And you got to ask yourself why that is. And especially when they're pushing the fake meat idea with like Beyond Meat and all that, which, as I understand it, their stock has like crashed. Like it's doing pretty bad because I think people are recognizing that it's crap. You might as well stick with what God provided for us when it comes to food. But yeah, Bill Gates is all over that. Rebel News feed just cut out, says welcome to the PSYOP. Okay, I'm going to keep scrolling through here and we'll look for some more questions before I potentially kill this stream, because I'm not so sure that it is going to happen today. But I'm going to stay on top of it because they've got a whole lot of RCMP there, as you could say, ready to mobilize, ready to go in. Who authorizes the warrant? Asks Fashion 21. Well, that would be a judge. Obviously, it's going to come down to and that's another thing. Like, that's the crazy thing about the courts is it kind of comes down to who the judge is, and if you luck out with the good one, or if you have some bad luck with the bad one. But it all comes down to kind of one man say eventually. I came here from Viva Frey. Also from Canada, says the Cove channel. Well, that's cool. I don't know if he mentioned that I'm live, but if so, that's great. Dan, what RCMP station can I call? If you probably Edgewood, BC. If you look that up, I'm not exactly sure about that. They do have a phone number here. And I'm not sure if that is to the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, or maybe this is to the RCMP. But yeah, they're kind of begging for people to reach out right now about what's going on. Let me quickly refresh this too, right here live with you, to see if we have any new breaking news. So we got the same couple of videos that have been uploaded a couple of hours ago, just 3 hours ago and 2 hours ago. So nothing really new to report on there. But nonetheless, we do have like tons of RCMP just waiting for the call, sitting there in their masks. Of course they don't want to be identified. Look at what they're engaging in. Look at what they're having a part in. This is disgusting, absolutely crazy. And again, it's just beyond wrong when you could see just how clearly healthy these birds are. Like, why can't they just say, you know what? Yeah, they gained herd immunity. They've survived it. 4 birds died 9 months ago, but that's pretty much the end of it. Like, they're going to not only ruin the livelihood of this farm that has been doing this for 35 years. Here comes a truck through the shot here. I do believe that's the farm owners, though. They've been in and out of the pen all day. They're pretty much staying in there throughout this whole thing. Let me refresh this too and make sure that this is actually a live shot. Yeah, it looks like this is still live. Started streaming 7 hours ago, and it's still live. So obviously we see the birds are still running around. Nothing has happened as of yet. Again, thank God for that. But they're mobilizing. They're getting ready for the call. the call for the cull. And again, hopefully this doesn't go down today, and maybe they will get a good judge, and maybe he won't issue the warrant, and maybe they will have the stay order go through, and maybe this company Nucor, which there's a number you can call, because as I understand it, that's what happened with Clearway, the company. Whole bunch of people called in, and people were like, "Don't you have a heart? Don't you have a conscience? How can you carry out this contract on behalf of the government for something that you know is not right?" And as I understand it, the company was like, "You know what? These people are right. What are we doing here?" And then they called it off. "No, you're not going to be able to use our trucks anymore." So they posted this saying, "We are officially in possession of our own Clearway trucks, and we're taking them back to Abbotsford. So no, Canadian Food Inspection Agency, you can't use our trucks." But it looks like this company, Nucor, was already contracted back in May of 2025. There's the contract date. Value, $188,000 contract. Work description, other professional services not elsewhere specified. This is a contract. An incident response carried out by the organization, the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. And those are the real thugs in this whole situation. It's the Canadian Food Inspection Agency who is like the evil ones pulling the strings at the top of all of this. So a lot of people are kind of putting, too much negative attention on the ostrich farm because of the research that they're doing with these antibodies and perpetuating the COVID narrative, that the government wants to push, that it's something you have to be afraid of. But really, we need to focus on the CFIA, Canadian Food Inspection Agency, and just how bad they are in trying to carry out this call order. Again, absolute insanity. Truly, truly is. Let me get back to some of your comments and questions. Let's see. Got a lot of nice comments. Thank you guys for everybody offering your support for my efforts here. But again, I'm just quickly scrolling through until I see some questions. Hi, Quantum Epics. People just getting into the chat now saying hi. Doing anything they can to shut down the operation. There goes 40 plus years down the toilet, says Code Maxim. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely ridiculous that they can do this to these people. But again, where they went wrong was allowing the Canadian Food Inspection Agency to come onto their property in the first place. Like, they didn't have to. Like, the CFIA asked them, hey, they called them up and said, we heard you had some sick birds. Can we come to your property and run a couple of tests? And the farm owners were like, yeah, by all means, come on down. Like, let's do it, no problem. And look at the situation they're in now. You don't have to go along with this stuff if you don't want to. And I wish the Canadian Food, I wish they realized that they could have rejected the agency from stepping onto their private property. Perhaps if they didn't do that, we wouldn't be in this whole situation. And that's something for you guys to know. If there's any farmers there watching any of this, or even, backyard chickens, which they might soon be coming after, and they already have, as a matter of fact. Like, you can refuse them entry onto your private property. That's fully within your rights to do. The moment you accept their request to come in, do some tests, that's when you're going to run into problems. And that's when Universal Ostrich Inc. basically made a mistake and are now dealing with the consequences of that mistake. All right, I'm going to scroll through here, see if we have any other questions, and I may just call it for the day because I don't really think anything's going to go down today, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention that they're mobilizing, they're getting ready. They might issue a warrant, but the stay order might go through too. Like, it's very possible they're either going to buy themselves a couple of more months, and maybe in that time they can get them out of there. Get them to somewhere safer. Ship them to the U.S., to Texas, like some of these people are offering in the United States. Who knows? This thing isn't over yet. It's not over yet. The people on the farm aren't sick? Asked the Cove Channel. No, this has nothing to do with, humans either being sick. Like, it's not like anybody at the farm has gotten sick because these birds were allegedly sick 9 months ago. Nope, human beings are totally fine. And yet, that hasn't stopped the Canadian government from engaging in this kind of nonsense. Like I reported on back in February, breaking, Canadian government just purchased H5N1 vaccines for humans while calling 400 healthy birds. The Canadian government just purchased 500,000 avian influenza vaccines for humans to be ready for potential health threats. So this stuff is on the table. But again, maybe that's what this is all about as well. Meanwhile, they're also ordering the culling of 400 healthy ostriches at a farm in BC after 2 PCR tests were done 50 days prior on 2 dead ostriches. In this video, I cover the latest iteration of COVID-19 84, which is slowly but surely morphing into yet another pandemic of epic proportions. And then I followed up that with this one, the devastating news after a federal judge ruled that this cull can proceed. But this was way back in May, and then there was a stay order that went through, and then that bought them a couple of more months. And then we get to today, where now the RCMP are mobilizing, and they're about to potentially issue a new warrant and go in there. But they have another stay order that they're trying to have passed now. And then I went there, obviously, back in May, and I put together this huge report. Again, it's an hour and a half long because there's so many things that have to be considered in regards to this particular situation. I was there on the grounds interviewing all the people, involved with this firsthand. And then again, the important one to watch as well is my interview with the farm owner herself. This is the daughter of the lady who owns the farm, so she's pretty much the spokesperson for the whole situation, Katie. And I challenged her with some tough questions. I grilled her about the controversial research that's going on in terms of the antibody research for COVID and some of the other stuff that the farm has been engaging in. And we had it out in a fantastic, unedited, raw conversation. So really important stuff, I think, for you guys to check out. Again, I won't get into too much of this here because, as I said, it's an hour and a half long. Plays like a documentary, but this is the result of my in-depth report after going there to Edgewood, BC, interviewing all these people who are directly involved in this stuff, and then I put it out in this one. This is Universal Ostrich Inc., a deep dive with Press for Truth. So make sure you guys check that one out. Let me go back to these comments and questions, and then I might call it for today, guys. If people are getting sick, are we going to be next for the killing? Says Fashion 21. Well, that's that's where this is heading. And let's just think about it. What happens when first it's farm animals, and then it's backyard animals, and then it's literally your pets. Like, is that the trajectory we're on here, where eventually they're going to be able to clamp down on your pets? I mean, I would not be surprised at all if that's what it comes down to. Hey, Dan, do you know if there's a possibility that they can still be saved? Yeah, I think there is a very real possibility that, you're going to get a judge who's not going to issue the warrant, and, there will be another stay order, and then maybe they can successfully get them out of there, which I think would probably have to happen. Otherwise, this thing's going to continue. But I hate to say it, it's more likely that the Canadian Food Inspection Agency is potentially going to get their way and set this precedent by slaughtering these healthy birds. But let's just hope, like, if they do, let's hope that backfires on them spectacularly, and they just crash and burn as an organization as a result, because that'll be maybe the straw that broke the camel's back, or whatever they say. That'll be the last straw for people to be like, okay, what you guys did there was absolutely beyond wrong, and maybe that'll do it. Why does the CFIA refuse to have the ostriches tested? Good question. Excellent question. Yeah, why don't they just allow them to go in here and do a couple of more tests and prove that they are healthy? You know, when they did tests, it was on 2 dead carcasses that have already died from something, and then they used PCR tests, which are already known to, be faulty. Like they essentially amplify pretty much the signal of any. They could detect just about anything they want to with these tests, and they can find avian. They could find whatever they want to, and sure enough, they did apparently, even though false positives happen all the time. But yeah, good question. Why don't they just allow them to go in and test the birds again and prove that they're obviously healthy? But again, I wouldn't want to invite them onto the property anymore. Like, that's kind of how we got into the mess in the first place. But you can see they're healthy. No doubt about that. I can't imagine the emotions of the owners of the farm. My prayers go out to them, says Queen Esther. Yeah, absolutely terrible. What's going on there? Again, I met the farm owners. I talked to them at great lengths, and yeah, it's really, really sad. Can I adopt a backyard ostrich? Says Brondo. I don't know. I don't see why you couldn't, but I'm not positive about that. OMG, they're not food. Yeah, no, they're actually being used as research birds. That is doing scientific research into the antibodies that come from the eggs to see if they could somehow provide in the COVID nonsense. That's kind of what I was trying to point out in my deep dive that plays like a documentary. That unfortunately this narrative that we need some sort of new thing to fight against these new variants just spreads the government narrative and the government lie that it's something you actually have to be concerned about. Let's see. Who has room to foster 1 or 2 ostriches? Yeah, well, good question. I think this apparently this guy from the U.S. has got the room. This is a right-wing commentator who's offering to house these ostriches. He wants to bring them to Oklahoma, Texas, and South Dakota. So I don't know if whoever this guy is already has stuff lined up for this to happen. The CFIA has not said when the call will be carried out. The RCMP said in a statement Sunday that the CFIA remains the lead agency on the matter. Those are the thugs that we have to be concerned with. We are aware of this and other social media posts asking people to contact the RCMP. We would ask that the public to leave emergency lines open for those who require immediate police assistance, they're asking. This isn't the first time that the farm was placed into the spotlight. In May, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. wrote a letter to the president of the CFIA asking that the farm be spared from this planned cull. So you even have the likes of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. chiming in on this, asking the CFIA if they could just not do this. Obviously, they've ignored his request. Kennedy, the U.S. Secretary for Health and Human Services, said in the letter to CFIA President Paul McKinnon that there would be significant value in studying the ostrich's immune response to avian flu. The farm lost birds to stop the call in federal court and the Federal Court of Appeal, and then last week was denied another stay of the call order while it prepares to apply for leave to go to the Supreme Court of Canada, an application that must be made by October 3rd. So it is crunch time. Uh-oh. Looks like we have a situation happening now. They've switched the camera to this. Let me see if we have any volume. we don't. But let's see what's going on here. It kind of looks like a bit of a standoff, or at least it could just be the RCMP coming up to, just assess the situation to try to see if the supporters and protesters are going to be willing to get out of the way or not. So we don't have audio for what's going on here right now, but it looks like potentially right now the RCMP are talking to some of the protesters. I don't see a lot of the other people in the back kind of coming up close to, running over to see what's going on. So it looks like this is just a general discussion with the police and a couple of the protesters, but honestly, it's not looking good. It probably is just a matter of time until, it almost looks like the RCMP are just asking these people if they're going to be willing to, comply and not block them from coming in. Here's a couple of police officers walking over. So I don't know what's going on, guys, if they're mobilizing right now, if they're getting ready to kind of pull the trigger and bring the trucks in. But yeah, it looks like something's maybe brewing right now. This is pretty wild. I'm going to leave this on the screen so we can keep an eye on that while I go back to some of these comments and questions. Let me scroll back to the most recent ones. So they've already got RCMP rolling through there, it looks like. And not sure if this is the beginning of the convoy of RCMP that's going to come through. Can see Drea there in the background interviewing somebody. She's potentially live streaming as well, I would imagine, right now. The live feed is from Prism Live. That's all I know, says the Cove channel. Again, I'm just scrolling through for some questions right now. Remember Peanut, ? Says Ursula. I assume you're talking about the little squirrel that in the US that they killed. Yeah, everybody remembers Peanut. If you guys are watching and you're not familiar with that, just look that up, man. Just do a search for Peanut the squirrel, and yeah, that'll show you also just how bad this stuff can get. They need more people to get there, says Gary Price. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it'd be nice if thousands of people showed up. Edgewood, BC is kind of out in the middle of nowhere. It took me like 8 or 9 hours to drive there from the Vancouver area when I went, and it's you're going to be bunking it out in a tent, which is what most of these people are doing. Where's PETA? Says Jerry Price. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, where are any of these people who are supposedly fighting for the rights of animals? They're nowhere to be seen. They're not even in the conversation. Good point. I highly doubt you're going to see them show up to this thing anytime soon. Again, just scrolling through for any more questions or interesting comments. But again, guys, this whole situation is coming at the hands of the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, who are acting like thugs here. They're about to kill 400 nearly perfectly healthy birds, who, as we said, 2 dead carcasses tested positive for avian influenza like 9 months ago. Obviously, these current ones that are there are not sick, but yet still they want to go through with this. It's just absolutely ridiculous and insane. How many people do we actually have on the the live stream on YouTube. Let me know in the chat. I can't seem to pull it up here for some reason. Yeah, it's not showing me here, but looks like on Rumble we got like 30 people watching. And you know, it's funny on YouTube. Obviously, I'm heavily shadow banned. I've got over 275,000 subscribers, and there's probably only like, I don't know, 30 or 40 of yous in here. 96 says Cove Channel. Yeah, 96 people for a channel with a 279,000 subscribers. That really adds up, doesn't it? By the way, guys, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. 102, the Cove Channel says 96. Some say 96, some say 102. 855. That can't be right. About 100 on YouTube, says Jeff. Yeah, again, we're talking about a channel with 279,000 subscribers, only getting like 100 people watching live on YouTube. 102 now, woohoo, yeah. But again, that's more reason why you should subscribe to me on other channels. Like I'm on Rumble, I'm on BitChute, I'm on Minds, I'm on Hive, I'm on Band, I'm on like 8 different platforms that are far less likely to censor me. So yeah, and I'll remind you guys that if you're watching this on YouTube right now, this channel has been terminated multiple times. There is a good chance it will be terminated again. And that's one of the most frustrating things I've heard from people when they see me back on YouTube. They're like, "You're back! Wow! Man, where did you go? You just kind of disappeared from the scene for a few years." And it's like, oh, no, I haven't. I've been producing daily videos all this time. The only reason why you've missed out on it is because you seem to only rely on YouTube. So hopefully you subscribe to me on some of the other channels. Ursula says, I was watching on Rumble, but I thought YouTube would make you money. Well, I don't know about that. I haven't seen a dime, yet. Apparently there's super chats and stuff like that coming in. I think I saw one earlier. Thank you to whoever did that. But it remains to be seen if I'm actually going to, get any of that money. So really the best way to contribute to my efforts, guys, is to go to pressfortruth.ca/donate. Please check for that in the description, because there's options. You can do PayPal, or if you don't like PayPal, if you're Canadian especially, you could do e-transfers. That's one of the easiest way. And I've got so many people requesting, they're like, I don't do online stuff. I just want to send you some cash, or a check made out to Dan Dicks. And that's why I created a P.O. box address as well, guys. So please take just a moment to go to pressfortruth.ca/donate if you do appreciate my efforts to continuously bring you this information. Again, you can send stuff to me, cash, checks, equipment, words of encouragement, whatever you want to send. You can also do e-transfers. That's a great way to go. And here, this is a Patreon alternative, because in case you didn't know, I have been kicked off of Patreon. I had like over 300 patrons contributing on a monthly basis, and that poof, all gone. Total whole revenue stream disappeared at the flip of a switch because they decided they wanted to cancel me because they didn't like what I was saying. So I set up this Patreon alternative. As I said, you can sign up for a monthly recurring contribution there, $5, $10, whatever's within your means, really greatly appreciated. And then you could also do that at Subscribestar by clicking here and going to Subscribestar and signing up for a monthly recurring contribution. Again, $5, $10, really greatly appreciated. A lot of people will contribute, 40, 50, $60 a month to Bell or TELUS or Comcast or, all these companies that just feed you propaganda through the TVs, whereas I'm giving you free information all the time, and all I ask is that if you appreciate it, you make a little contribution from here and there. And I want to thank everybody who has done that for me. It's very, very, very greatly appreciated. In case you didn't know, I also do have a Give, Send, Go campaign. that you can see here to help save and protect Press for Truth. So far, 56 people have contributed to that. I'm nearly halfway to the goal here, because I was, hoping to be able to get to the point where I could maybe hire bodyguards while covering events. Because, like, if you saw in my most recent video, let's just go back to my website here and refresh it. Antifa, designated as a terrorist group, be careful what you wish for. You'll see a short little snippet of a compilation of all the times I've been literally physically attacked by the likes of Antifa, BLM, feminists, climate activists, and the LGBTQ community. So yeah, it gets a little intense when I go cover events. So I'd love to be able to hire professional, bodyguards to just keep these people from being all over me. But again, that costs some money, and I'm a one-man show here. I have no corporate overlords or sponsors or anybody, financially helping me except for you guys. That's it. I'm 100% beholden to you, the viewers. So again, guys, if you do want to contribute, check me out at this Go Get Funding campaign or pressfortruth.ca/donate. All right, let's take another look at this live stream, and let me get back to some of these questions and comments. Hi, Jonah. Nice to see you. 141 says T. Kerr. I wonder if that is the same Kerr who's out there at the farm. Give us an update if it is, but I guess the numbers are rising, but still, that doesn't add up when you've got 279,000 subscribers. I think this channel is still being heavily shadow banned and censored. So this is why I'm also streaming on Rumble today, but I think I only have like 12,000 subscribers over there. So guys, if you are watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to my Rumble channel. You can find links to that in the description, and if they're not there yet, you can also just go to pressfortruth.ca/subscribe, and there you're going to find a whole bunch of links to where, all the different channels that I post to on a regular basis. Code Maxim says the time Dan got hit in the head, either with a rock or a frozen water bottle, was a pretty bad one. Props to you, Dan, for putting yourself out there. Actually, I've been hit on the head like 4 times, I think. You'll see that in the compilation. One time it was like a full water bottle, bam, right in the side of the head while I was covering the BLM rally, and I got surrounded by like 120 people, like a mob, who were all calling me a racist and a Nazi. And then a group of like 12 police officers formed a circle around me. And then when the mob attacked me, they ended up arresting me. It was just a ruse to get me out of there. When you can hear on video, I'm asking the cop, "Why are you arresting me?" He's like, "To save your life. I'm trying to help you." And it's absolutely ridiculous. But there was other times too. I got smoked in the head with blunt objects that I didn't even see what it was, giving me raging headaches for the rest of the day. There was another event where I got smacked in the face with a ball. My sunglasses go flying off my face, and it's just absolutely insane. Yeah, I get attacked just from being out there, just to cover these things, just walking around with a camera and a microphone, and boom, it's brutal. Yeah, the BLM one I remember. Says Code Maxim. That was terrible. Yeah, it was a good thing that I was live streaming that one as well, because that stuff might not have gotten out there if I wasn't. You should be a millionaire, says Annabelle. Yeah, would be nice. I certainly would reinvest any money that I get back into PFT and be able to do bigger, better shows rather than this rinky-dink little live stream that I'm, trying to do all by myself. It would be nice to be able to hire a whole team of people who could help me take this whole thing to a whole new level. But maybe someday there will be, some mega millionaire out there who will watch my stuff and be like, you know what? I want to help that guy. You know, there's billionaires out there who are like libertarian, freedom-minded people, but man, oh man, could they ever make the world a better place if they just gave a couple of guys like me like less than half of a percent of what they earn on a daily basis, and man, oh man, I'd be able to do so much better, bigger stuff. But it is what it is. I'm just gonna keep plugging away no matter what, guys. Wear a helmet and goggles. Seriously, says Lovely One. I know. I've considered that. I've gone to these things with that kind of stuff before, um, and you know I'll keep that in mind moving forward. Where is this farm? Kamloops or Kelowna? It's actually in Edgewood, BC. Edgewood, probably a couple of hours outside of Kamloops. It's about an 8 or 9 hour drive for me. Again, I went there not long ago and did a huge video on this whole situation, interviewing all the people there on the grounds, interviewing the farm owners, um, interviewing virology experts about germ theory, interviewing skeptics of the farm in regards to the antibody research that's going on there. Again, if you guys haven't seen that, just use the search feature on my website and look up Universal Ostrich Farm Inc., a deep dive with Press for Truth. How come we can't hype your videos? I'm not sure what that even means. I don't know why you can't hype them, but I assume that's a new feature or something on YouTube. I don't really know, but can you hype other people's videos? I don't know how that works, but and I'm you know the reason why you can't with mine, if that is some sort of feature, is I'm heavily censored, heavily shadow banned. I have been since like 2018 roughly is when I started noticing things were changing with my channel. And I haven't gained any new subscribers really since then. I've been like locked in at around the 275,000 level, 275 to 280, somewhere in that vicinity for like 6 years or something. It's clearly being shadow banned, but that's why I've branched out onto all these other channels: BitChute, Rumble, Hive, Odyssey. I love Odyssey. Odyssey's a great one. Looks like my light is dying. My battery's getting low as well. So let me just take a quick look at this stream and see what's going on here. It does look to still be live, but yeah, it's you know the kind of the more of the same. A lot of the protesters are just kind of standing around. It says it's offline now, so I don't know if they just killed the stream. Let me try refreshing. All right, it's back to live. But yeah, looks like you got a little bit of a standoff happening here with some RCMP and some protesters as they're just waiting for the call, the RCMP. There's this earlier footage that we looked at of all of them just down the road, sitting in their cars waiting. And as soon as the judge issues a warrant, all of these guys are going to go in. They're going to physically, forcefully remove the protesters. And then, presumably, this company is going to roll in with all of their trucks, and the RCMP is going to usher all of these birds onto the trucks, take them somewhere to be killed. And that's what we're looking at. It's absolutely insane and ridiculous. So I wonder how these idiots will kill the ostriches. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I doubt they're going to do it anywhere here. They're not going to do it at the farm. So I think they're going to pile them onto a bunch of trucks, take them somewhere, and kill them. It's absolutely disgusting and insane. Again, you could thank the Canadian Food Inspection Agency for that. Try locals, says the Cove. Yeah, maybe I should check that out. I've heard of that a few times. I'm not on there. I'm not familiar with it, but Maybe I'll check it out. Julie Mack says, I hyped Billboard Chris's channel. Probably a new feature. Did you know that I've done a whole bunch of work with Billboard Chris over the years? I've interviewed him like a dozen times. I've filmed viral videos with the guy, filming him being attacked by trans Tifa. And you know what he recently did to me? He blocked me on Twitter because I criticized a little bit his response to when Trump bombed Iran and allegedly took out a nuclear facility, and he was cheering for this. And I pointed out how, that might not be such a good thing, and he blocked me. Like after having the guys back for I don't even know how long, a long time now. They might be offline now. But after having the guys back for so long, the man who claims to have one conversation at a time couldn't handle a little bit of criticism coming from me, somebody who supported him many times over the years, and he blocked me on Twitter. So he's kind of dead to me now. He's a bit of a douchebag. Looks like they've just cut to a live stream of, what is this? Rebel looks like they're live. And oh, my channel just seems to have jumped to that, interestingly enough. Yeah, it's good to see there's a lot of people there. Let me just refresh this to see if there's anything really new and breaking. And yeah, it's the same video from 3 hours ago and 4 hours ago. We've already looked at all of this. So anyways, guys, I may call that for the day. I just wanted to bring all of this to your attention that it does look like they're kind of, mobilizing for this thing to potentially happen today. But again, a judge still has to issue a warrant for them to be able to do so. And they do have a stay order. According to this, they have to get leave to go to the Supreme Court of Canada. That must be made by October 3rd. So whether or not they're going to be able to hold off this call order until then remains to be seen. Or maybe some judge can fast track things for them before October 3rd. I really don't know. But to be honest, it's not really looking good right now. It does look like the Canadian Food Inspection Agency is going to probably, pull the trigger on this and set this insane precedence and kill these healthy and majestic creatures. And again, regardless of what you think about the research that they're doing at this place in terms of the antibodies going into COVID and stuff, I know there's issues with that, perpetuating the nonsense government narrative. But regardless of all of that, this is still an attack on freedom. This is still an attack on small-time farmers. This is an attack on private property. This is an attack on entrepreneurship. This is an attack on all of us. So this is something I get behind. Again, guys, if you haven't seen my deep dive with Press for Truth, just go to my YouTube my channel, and up here you can just type in like universal. Try just the word universal. You don't even have to put in the whole title. And there, boom, comes up right here. All my videos on this, and right here at the top, the Universal Ostrich Inc., a deep dive with Press for Truth. Again, it took me 5 days to put this piece together, and I really look at all sides of the discussion, all sides of the debate, whether you're concerned with the scientific research that's going on there, or if you just understand that the culling of these healthy birds is wrong. It's all covered in this piece, where I speak to people on the grounds. I interview protesters. I interview Dr. Andrew Kaufman, who gets into germ theory, virology. I introduced Christine Massey, who, you know, was one of the biggest vocal critics of what the farm was doing. And then I talked to the farm themselves, like Katie, the owner, the daughter of the official owner, anyways, and kind of grilled her about all the stuff that people have issues with as well. A lot of people were like, Dan, you could have asked harder questions, but I mean, you know, you could go there as well and put together your hour-and-a-half long documentary piece. I'd love to see it, but I did the best I could do, guys, and I really hope you will check it out. Again, if you do appreciate my efforts to do all of this, don't forget to check me out at pressfortruth.ca/donate. Again, you could do one-time donation with PayPal. You could send an e-transfer. You could sign up for a monthly contribution at that Patreon alternative or at Subscribestar. And you could send stuff to my P.O. box, guys. Again, I will have links in the description below after this stream if they're not there already. There's also this Give, Send, Go campaign that you can contribute to. 56 people have contributed so far. You just click on this red Give button and it'll bring you to here where you can fill out your amount. You could do, I didn't know that. You could do a monthly subscription as well, or just a single donation. Again, links for all this are going to be located in the description below, guys, because I need all the help I can get moving forward. As the write-up says here, in case you didn't know, I am a one-man show. I do all the research. I do the filming. I do all the editing. I do the posting. I run everything on the back end, like my website and the 8 various platforms that I upload my videos to. I handle all the administrative tasks as well. And I've only ever relied on viewers to continue doing this work, and I wouldn't want it any other way. With your help, I can better protect myself with bodyguards while covering events, and also by building a team who can help me reach more people than ever before. So if you guys would like to help grow Press for Truth into something that can truly be a thorn in the side of the powers that ought not be, as I often say, please consider making a contribution, because I simply can't do it without you guys. Together we can continue to smash that pyramid of control one brick at a time, and we can continue to awaken new hearts and minds who will help us build a better world for us all. So God bless everyone who does contribute. Thank you so much for your support. In case you didn't know, you can also scan the QR code if you do want to contribute Bitcoin, or you can just go to this link here, or you can go to pressfortruth.ca/donate. And so I think I'm going to leave it at that for today, guys. Let me just check on the comments and questions one last time. I would like to help Dan, but I have no money coming in and no government support. East Indians took my job. However, I'm not supposed to be angry. Well, thank you so much for the offers of support. One way you can do that, if you don't, have the financial means to do so, is to simply just share the content. Like it, comment on it like you already have, and share it. Share it far as wide. That certainly helps me. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody. Have a good day, says Code Maxim. And everybody on the chat, keep on keeping on, everybody. May Christ be with you. Amen. I would 100% agree with that. Just scanning through on any last comments or questions, but I think that's going to do it for today, guys. So hopefully this thing isn't going to actually go down today. Hopefully the stay order gets rushed through by a good judge. Let's hope and pray that somebody on within the courts who's actually a good guy sees this for what it is and is like, no, this is bad. This is crazy. These are healthy birds. Let's help save the ostriches. So, yeah, I'm going to leave it at that today, guys. Just wanted to bring this to your attention that it's crunch time for the ostrich farm. Regardless of what you think about the research that they're doing there, killing nearly 400 healthy birds is absolutely wrong, and we have to do everything we can to help raise awareness about this crucial and critical situation. All right, guys, that's all for today. I want to thank you so much for joining me here on this live stream. Stay tuned for more. Don't forget to subscribe to me on all the other channels, especially if you're only watching me on YouTube. Get me on BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey. Those are my top 3. Rumble, BitChute, Odyssey. You can check the link in the description to where you could find me on those channels. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned, guys. I will have more video reports coming soon, God willing. This is Stan.